As the Protestant Orange Order, their bands and their supporters came past the Catholic Ardoyne area, they came under attack from golf balls and bottles. The army had put large screens in place to separate the two sides. But as soon as the first missiles flew, the police pushed the Catholics away, a manoeuvre the locals felt to be out of proportion. The water cannon was used very quickly as the police came under sustained attack. A car was brought from the Catholic area and set on fire. It was at this stage blast bombs were thrown. Sources say members of the dissident Republican group, the so-called Continuity IRA, were responsible.
My assessment would be that, this was premeditated. I think that there was an element within that community that had decided they were going to attack this parade no matter what.
This film is about loyal order parades along the Crumlin Road. The purpose is to dispel the Republican lie that parades pass through the Catholic Ardoyne area, a position they attempt to portray in a hope of perverting public and international opinion. As you heard in the opening clip, peaceful marchers have been attacked with bottles, stones, golf balls and blast bombs as they parade in dignity along a main road in North Belfast. To understand the total myth of the Republican claims, which to an extent have been furthered by intellectual laziness from a liberal media driven by sensationalism and a reliance on the soundbite, let us look in further detail to the geography of the area on specific points of the contested route. In our first graphic, we see the parade assembly point at the Upper Crumlin Road at the intersection with the Laganine Road. Marked in red arrow is the parade direction, and you will notice the road travelled is the A52, the main road thoroughfare to Carlisle Circus and into Belfast city centre. Notice also to the right, marked and highlighted, the relative position of the Ardoyne Road. Looking slightly further down the Crumlin Road, moving in the direction of Belfast city centre, we see an intersection with the A55, which is the Ballysillan Road. Notice again the position of the Ardoyne Road to your right, a significant distance from the parade route. Moving down the Crumlin Road, and again the red arrow highlights the direction of the parade, we first begin to see to the right the Protestant streets of Upper Ardoyne. This area, which is part of Ardoyne, is known as Glenburn. As you study the graphic for this area, some points of interest are the four intersections of the Protestant Upper Ardoyne with the Ardoyne Road. It is overlooked and rarely reported that there is a Protestant population in this exact location. Also, please note the position of Berwick Road at the bottom of Glenburn Drive and Glenburn Park, as this will be discussed further. In this graphic, we take our first detailed look of the Catholic part of Ardoyne running in this map view from Alliance Avenue to Brompton Park at the bottom of your screen. Notice the position of the Ardoyne shop fronts, which mark the edge of the Catholic Ardoyne. The Ardoyne district to the right of your view, the route of the march in red arrow, and the position of the Ardoyne Road, which is circled in green. Zooming in, we can clearly see the extent of the shop fronts and the demarcation of the edge of Ardoyne. The shop fronts are the position of choice for residents who come out to protest about the parade. Early morning parades attract a lot fewer protesters, which leads to the conclusion that Ardoyne residents are more tolerant in the early morning. Zooming out, and to reiterate points already made, the shop fronts mark the outer edge of Ardoyne, with the Catholic district running to the right of your screen. If we look below the roundabout, which the Crumlin Road intersects with Tweedale Avenue and Woodvale, we see the Woodvale Road, which the parade now joins. This is towards the bottom end of your screen. The parade continues to the junction of Enfield Street, continues along Enfield Street before turning into Canberra Street, continuing along Canberra Street, and the parade rejoins the Crumlin Road just below Flex Street. We zoom out and look at a wider perspective. We see the relative position of Ardoyne to the route we just studied in detail. Again, the route is marked with red arrows. It is very clear that the parade is now below Ardoyne and never passes through any part of Ardoyne. If we take a view of the other side of the Crumlin Road, we see an area with no obvious housing. Moving down the Crumlin Road, a point of interest in this graphic is the intersection of Clifton Park Avenue with the Crumlin Road. This has been highlighted with a green circle. This area is usually policed, as the road connects with Catholic areas which will be towards the top of your screen and out of view. If we zoom in and have a closer look at the area the parade passes, it is clear that there is absolutely no housing close by. A few hundred yards down the Crumlin Road we get a view of the Mater Hospital, one of the main public hospitals in the city. On the top left of your screen you can see the relative position of Clifton Park Avenue. On the 12th of July, at the main Orange demonstration in Belfast, lodges from West and North Belfast assemble in this area in district order. This means they are expected to form up in a particular order, ready to march off with the main parade. The main procession departs from Carlisle Circus, which is a few hundred yards along the Crumlin Road. This graphic shows the context. The roundabout highlighted is Carlisle Circus. The procession departs from this area and from Clifton Street Orange Hall, and the Crumlin Road is used as a staging point for many thousands of marchers who participate in the main procession. Zooming in, we get a view of Carlisle Circus and the relative position of Clifton Street and Clifton Street Orange Hall, which are both marked. As stated, the parade from Laganeel, or indeed Ballysillan, will have joined the main Belfast procession at this point. Let us therefore take a moment to summarise the key points of what we have discovered about the route. The route departed on the main road into town, namely the Crumlin Road. The parade did not go through Ardoyne. As we saw clearly on the area maps, the parade passed the outer edge of Ardoyne at the shop fronts, which demark the edge of the Ardoyne district. The parade did not pass through any Catholic areas. The main parade assembly point, being the Crumlin Road outside of the Mater Hospital, makes this road the most sensible possible route to join the main Belfast procession. If we take a step back and look again at the graphic of Ardoyne, this time highlighting Berwick Road, which you can see in yellow, for any Republican claims that this parade to have gone through Ardoyne to be factual, it would need to follow a route marked by the hypothetical black arrow or similar. As this is not the case, we can therefore resolutely state that the Republican claims that this parade goes through Ardoyne are false. Again, let's quickly remind ourselves of the location of the edge of Ardoyne, namely the Ardoyne shops, the position of choice for protesting against the parade. Superimposing a few graphics over the area map, we see again the Protestant Glenburn area of Upper Ardoyne. As always, the parade route is highlighted with a red arrow. The focal point of the green arrows is the Ardoyne shop fronts at the edge of the district. The green arrows are an indicative journey which the residents must make to be offended by a peaceful march that takes only a few minutes to pass. Remember, this parade is by a peaceful Christian organisation that passes the shop fronts within minutes. and on the part of the route passing the shop fronts no music is played. Consider therefore the sheer effort that the Ardoyne residents must make in order to be offended. Also consider how their lack of simple tolerance relates to their expressed wish for priority esteem of cultures in an Ireland of equals. Let us close by looking again at pictures of previous Republican protests in Ardoyne. Sadly, the manifestation and the threat of violence is ever present, and as has been explained, is utterly indefensible. July 2010. The parade is able to pass the Ardoyne shop fronts unhindered on the morning of the 12th of July. However, by late afternoon, the Ardoyne residents had managed to get out of their beds, and the buses bringing outsiders wishing to be offended had arrived. Dissidents and the boys they use had assembled at the Ardoyne shop fronts, prepared at all costs to subdue freedom. Masked men and youths attacked police lanes in an attempt to seriously injure police officers. The police managed to clear a space big enough for the parade to pass. Orange men and bandsmen have to be protected by police shields as stones and golf balls and other objects are thrown along with the sectarian words of hate coming from the dissident protesters. The parade passing is however not the end, as dissidents continue on a 4-night orgy of violence and destruction, where shots are fired, petrol bombs and stones are thrown, and property damaged, all in an attempt to bully and harass the Protestant population of North Belfast. We can clearly see what republicanism means with its catchphrase, an Ireland of equals. Of course we know that the continuation of this sentence is, unless you are a Protestant. This has been a production of Pulse Resources, your leading source of Protestant, Unionist and Loyalist information on the World Wide Web.